Hello viewers, I'm Swati Kundra with yet another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show with Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, a region facing neglect and discrimination from Islamabad for decades. Also known as Azad Kashmir, its people face one of the worst human rights abuses with no basic facilities of health, education, employment or democratic rights. We have a report.
Raja Iqbal Minhas is an advocate in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. He supported the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz government in the last elections, but is now flustered with the establishment. Like Raja Iqbal, there are many others in the POK region who suffer from government apathy even after participating in the so-called democratic process. Promises made before the elections were forgotten and locals made to suffer at the hands of a corrupt administration.
जिस मुल्क को आज़ाद कश्मीर कहा जाता है, इस मुल्क के अंदर मुस्लिम लीग नून की हुकूमत कायम करने के लिए बड़ी मेहनत की, बहुत जदोजहद की, लोगों को वोट दिलवाया और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह बहुत भारी अक्सरियत के साथ आज़ाद कश्मीर के अवाम ने मुस्लिम लीग नून की जमात को हुक्मरानी के लिए मुंतखब किया। ये इलेक्शन 21 जुलाई 2016 को हुए थे, उसके बाद गवर्नमेंट की तश्कील हो गई। लेकिन अफसोस, नहायत अफसोस से ये बात कहना पड़ता है कि जिस अवाम ने बहुत बड़ी बिदू के साथ, बहुत बड़ी तवक्कुआत के साथ मुस्लिम लीग नून की हुकूमत को मुंतखब किया था, मुस्लिम लीग नून की हुकूमत अपने इब्तदाई 3 माह में वो रिजल्ट वो कारगुजारी शो नहीं कर सकी।
The story of neglect and despair is an old phenomena in POK, where the corrupt rulers continue to rule at the cost of the locals. Political dummies sent by Islamabad are least bothered about local issues like health, education and employment. Even if one government allots a development package under pressure from the civil society or political activists, the project either remains on paper for several years or a new government declares it null and void.
मुजफ्फराबाद की बिजली बंद करने का कंट्रोल जो है वो डायरेक्ट इस्लामाबाद ने अपने पास रख लिया है और मैं समझता हूँ कि ये इस तरह के कामों से आज़ाद कश्मीर हुकूमत की नेकनामी में कहीं भी इजाफा नहीं हो रहा। और ये हैरानकुन चीज़ है कि मियां नवाज शरीफ वज़ीर-ए-आज़म पाकिस्तान ने लोड शेडिंग का दुरानिया निसफ करने की बात की है, ऐलान किया है पाकिस्तान में अब 3 घंटे की लोड शेडिंग है, लेकिन यहाँ उसी तरह 12, 14 और 16 घंटे की लोड शेडिंग है और इससे अवाम बहुत परेशान है। अवाम का कोई पुरसान हाल नहीं है। बेरोज़गारी के अजाब ने अलग लोगों को परेशान कर रखा है और लोड शेडिंग के निज़ाम ने पूरा निज़ाम ज़िंदगी मफलूज कर दिया है।
Islamabad has been looting the natural resources of POK, which was previously part of the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir. Locals allege that the Pakistani establishment is illuminating Islamabad with their electricity while plunging their region into darkness. Besides the perennial problem of load shedding, people of the region are also having to put up with a severe water crisis.
To speak more on the situation, we are now joined by Mumtaz Khan, a political activist from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir who now lives in exile. Mr. Mumtaz, Pakistan calls Pakistan-occupied Kashmir as Azad or Free Kashmir. Do you believe the people there enjoy basic rights?
By calling it a free, it does not amount to to freedom or the Free Kashmir. It is completely controlled by the Pakistani few bureaucrats, Pakistan Minister for Kashmir Affairs, Pakistan military, intelligence institutions. So the Prime Minister or the President or whatever facet they have, so-called facet they have created there, is just to mislead the world opinion and also to mislead internally the people there. But if even you speak to common Pakistani within a Pakistan, so they don't know where this Azad Kashmir lies, what its status is, how it is run by and who controls it. So it is simply just Pakistan uses its name of Azad Kashmir or Free Kashmir is just to divert the attention from rest of the issues.
What are your demands from Pakistani establishment?
Pakistan should end its control on its control areas, Gilgit-Baltistan and Pakistan control Kashmir. So, and especially, I mean, in terms of the way, I mean, the Pakistan treats, I mean, that area, the way Pakistan, I mean, rules that area is we haven't seen, I mean, this kind of governance during the colonialism as well, because the colonialism, they had some sort of, I mean, given I mean, powers to the local people there, local government there, but this government in Pakistan, I mean, control Kashmir, is controlled by few bureaucrats who control administration, who control all executive powers, and the Prime Minister there has no even powers to appoint a judge there, has no power to appoint an election commissioner there.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mumtaz. Pakistan has been protesting against India's hydroelectric plant projects on the Kishan Ganga River in Jammu and Kashmir state since its construction began in 2007. In 2013, the Hague's Court of Arbitration had ruled that India could divert a minimum amount of water for power generation. But Pakistan approached the World Bank once again to seek its intervention. We have a report.
Indus Water Treaty has been a festering issue between India and Pakistan for years now. Even after being declared as one of the most successful treaties of the world, Pakistan has always made several attempts to halt the projects of growth and development underway in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Recently, Pakistan approached the World Bank, which brokered the Indus Water Treaty in 1960, for a court of arbitration over the designs of Kishan Ganga and Ratle hydropower projects. In response, India has asked for the appointment of a neutral expert and maintained that a court of arbitration was not required. Last week, India had asked Pakistan to address its concerns bilaterally.
India has always believed that the implementation of the Indus Waters Treaty, which includes the redressal of the technical questions and differences, should be done bilaterally between India and Pakistan. There are examples available where such matters had been successfully resolved bilaterally within the Permanent Indus Commission, for instance. An example is the resolution of the height of the freeboard for Kishan Ganga, or even between the two governments, as seen in the Salal hydroelectric project, for example, in 1978. Given the will to address these matters through the appropriate mechanisms provided for in the Indus Waters Treaty, there is no reason why the technical design parameters on which Pakistan has raised objections cannot be sorted out by professional technical experts from both sides.
The World Bank initially decided to initiate the two processes simultaneously. However, post India's protest, the processes were paused. India termed the simultaneously running of both processes legally untenable. The World Bank has appealed to India and Pakistan to resolve the issue amicably.
We had advised the World Bank not to rush into initiating two parallel processes simultaneously and to hold more consultations. It is a matter of satisfaction that this point has now been recognized by the World Bank. We believe that these consultations should be given adequate time.
The 330 megawatt Kishan Ganga hydroelectric power project is part of the run-of-the-river hydroelectric scheme that is designed to divert the river to the power plant in the Jhelum River, one of the tributaries of Indus River. India currently generates about 3,000 megawatts of energy from hydropower plants along rivers in its portion of Kashmir, but believes the region has the potential to produce 18,000 megawatts and says it can use more water within the terms of the treaty.
To understand more about the issue, we are now with Mr. Dipankar Sengupta. Mr. Dipankar, kindly tell us if India has adhered to laws while making these projects.
Where Indus Water Treaty is concerned, India does not utilize, it is not known, still does not utilize all the water resources it has. In fact, India leaves some margin for the utilization of Pakistan. So, India under this treaty has the right to build hydel projects on the so-called west-flowing rivers. What are these west-flowing rivers? They are the Jhelum, the Chenab and the Indus. So we don't have the right to dam these rivers and utilize this water for irrigation purposes, but we can use these rivers to build run-of-the-river projects, as long as we don't stop water from going to Pakistan. We can't use this particular water for irrigation purposes if we build dams. So what we can't do is something called pondage. We can't basically dam the water for pondage, but we can create dams for hydel purpose projects, so far as we don't use this particular water for irrigation purposes.
Pakistan filed complaints against India in the past as well. Do you think they ever have strong arguments to go on with the process?
Every time India tries to build a particular project, Pakistan has to have an objection to it. Invariably, any panel that is constituted by the World Bank finds that this particular objections do not have any serious value or they do not hold water. But from time to time, to appease Pakistan, they asked India to do a few nominal things. But India has never been found of serious violation of the Indus Water Treaty. But unfortunately, every time India tries to build up something, we are led to distractions and obstacles because Pakistan has a tendency to file these objections. So far so much, the World Bank has become so tired. This time they just told Pakistan and India it was not going to constitute panels, and the two countries were supposed to sort this out within themselves. Now I look at it as a snub to Pakistan, whereby the World Bank and the United Nations is telling Pakistan to grow up, to behave more maturely.
Well, thank you, Mr. Dipankar, for sharing the information. Bangladesh and India celebrated Vijay Divas or Victory Day that marked the liberation of Bangladesh from Pakistan in 1971. We bring you a report about this historic day.
16th day of December in the year 1971 proved to be a red-letter day in the history of Bangladesh, when the Allied forces of Bangladesh, backed by the Indian Armed Forces, threw the Pakistani army out of its territory. The 9-month-long war witnessed large-scale atrocities, exodus of 10 million refugees and killing of as many as 3 million people. Thousands of war crimes were committed by the soldiers as they attacked students, massacred innocent people who opposed army's thoughts and ideas, and genocide. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, founding father of Bangladesh, didn't give in to Pakistan's maltreatment and continued his movement at every stage. And one day, the propaganda set in the boundaries of the then West Pakistan to divide the people of the then East Pakistan was defeated. Pakistan's brutality against the uprising of the Bangladesh came to an end. On its 45th anniversary, India paid homage to its fallen heroes of 1971 Indo-Pak War. Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar, along with the 3 service chiefs, also paid tributes to the brave hearts at Amar Jawan Jyoti.
I don't have to stress the importance of the day. It's a day when we achieved a decisive victory and created a new country.
The war, which was also known as Indo-Pakistan War of 1971, was significant for India too, as infiltration by Pakistan was becoming a growing threat to the country, and at the same time, the atrocities committed by the Pakistani army in Bangladesh, which led to huge mass exodus of refugees towards the Indian territory, was becoming an administrative and governing challenge for the country. Though India participated for a small period of just 13 days, it successfully demolished the enemy and forced Lieutenant General Amir Abdullah Khan Niazi, CEO of Pakistan Armed Forces, to sign the Instrument of Surrender, a written agreement that enabled the surrender of the Pakistan Eastern Command in the Bangladesh Liberation War and marked the end of the 1971 war.
To talk what all transpired during the 9-month-long liberation war, we are now joined by Mr. Jayant Bhattacharya, a political expert. Mr. Bhattacharya, what according to you was the main reason behind this liberation war?
West Pakistan rulers always used East Pakistan as their colony. So from the very beginning there was a conflict of language and also conflict of economic interests. So as the West Pakistan was the dominant ruler, they never gave due respect to the East Pakistanis. So when the Awami League, led by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, owned all the seats of the parliament in East Pakistan, they became the majority party in the Pakistan parliament. But the West Pakistanis were not ready, particularly the army, which is dominated by the West Pakistanis. They were not really interested to accept Mujibur Rahman as the prime minister. So there was the conflict. So when they did not accept Mujibur Rahman, so naturally a conflict arose, and as a result of which the East Pakistanis revolted, and which resulted in liberation of Bangladesh.
What all atrocities were committed on the innocent people during this period?
In 9 months, they killed 30 lakh Bengali Muslims in East Pakistan, and also raped more than 2 lakh women. And they also looted their houses, torched their houses, and molested many women. So it's a incident which we must condemn it.
Since its liberation from Pakistan, Bangladesh has been facing problems caused by Jamaat-E-Islami and other militant outfits. In a major breakthrough, the Bangladesh police recently arrested 2 suspected militants who were allegedly involved in an attack on an upscale cafe in Dhaka in July 2016 that left many people dead, amongst which most were the foreign nationals.
Bangladesh police arrested 2 suspected militants of new faction of banned Jamaat-ul-Mujahideen Bangladesh or JMB for their involvement in an attack on a cafe in Dhaka in July. The terrorists, aged 21 and 28, were arrested with lethal weapons, leaflets, cash and jihadi books by the Rapid Action Battalion. ISIS had claimed responsibility for the deadly attack. But the police believe that new Jamaat-ul-Mujahideen Bangladesh, which is close to the ISIS, was involved in organizing the attack.
র্যাবপুরের একটি চৌকস দল পল্লবীর লালমাটিয়া এলাকা থেকে 2 জনকে গ্রেপ্তার করে তারা সারোয়ার তামিম গ্রুপের সদস্য, একজন আতিকুর রহমান মিলন এবং অন্যজন খাদেমুল ইসলাম কাজু মাতুল।
Early this year, on the night of 1st July, 5 militants had breached into Holy Artisan Bakery in the affluent area of capital city of Dhaka and opened fire on the civilians and taken hostages. The incident resulted in deaths of 22 civilians, out of which 20 were foreign nationals. There have been an escalation in the terrorist activities over last few years in the country. Since 2013, Muslim-majority Bangladesh has experienced an increase in Islamist attacks on religious minorities, secularist and liberal-minded Muslims. Since September 2015, there have been over 30 such attacks, and Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant claim responsibility for 21 of them.
Moving on to Afghanistan, decades of conflict and violence in war-torn country has forced its nationals to migrate to other countries in search of safer havens. However, recently a group of 38 men were deported by Germany on the grounds of repatriation deals signed between Afghanistan and the European Union that allows its member states to deport an unlimited number of countries' asylum seekers. We have a report.
A chartered plane carried 38 men from the city of Frankfurt to Kabul recently. Dozens of asylum seekers were deported from Germany in a first-time rejection for asylum seekers. The deportations are taking place on the basis of an agreement which was signed earlier this year between the European Union and the Afghan government on the sidelines of the donor conference in Brussels, in which it was dictated that the refugees will be repatriated when the security situation is stable in the war-torn country. The constant rise in the number of the refugees has also posed security and administration challenges in front of the German government.
آورد فهمید در یک شهر دیگه در زندان برد یک روز در زندان بودیم فهمید نمی‌ماند که تلفن کنیم دیگه آورد فهمید در میدان هوایی فرانکفورت دستبند زده در میدان هوایی فرانکفورت بودیم یعنی میره رقم آورد در افغانستان ما را تا کرد نماند که لباس خود جمع کنیم نماند فهمید که موبایل خود بگیریم کامپیوتر خود بگیریم.
With the tough stance being taken by the Western governments, it is going to be a huge challenge for the Afghan government to resettle these people as they have nowhere to go and have no employment.
به خاطر اروپا بسیار چیز از دست ما داده مگر مجبور بودم اونجا باشم هیچ کس وطن خود مثلا دوست نداره من دوست از من هیچ کس زیادتر دوست نداره مگرم اجازه دادم من چی کنم اینجا با مجبور هستم یا طالب بری یا داعش بری.
The Western-backed government in Afghanistan is battling a number of Islamist militant groups, including the Taliban. Civilian casualties have remained near record-high levels, with thousands killed and injured in fighting every day. And this ravage is the reason thousands have been seeking help from the European establishments.
Now we take you to Tripura in India's northeast region, where women are engaged in making dolls. The household business helps these women to generate income for themselves. A report.
The fascinating art of doll making has lately captured the interest of women in Tripura state. This art has given an additional option to women to employ themselves during leisure time. It reflects not just their creativity but also makes them financially independent. Many more women are leaning towards the art of doll making.
তার জন্য আমি এসেছি যাতে বাড়ির কাজের ফাঁকে যে এই কাজটা শিখব বাড়িতে বসে করব করলে দুই পয়সা পাবো ঘরের সংসারে কাজে টাকাটা লাগবে বাচ্চার পড়াশোনার কাজে লাগবে তার জন্য আমি এখানে এসেছি শিখতে.
There is an array of varieties of dolls representing various tribes, communities, gods and goddesses, animals, flower vases and other decorative items. Each doll costs from $1 to $5 in the market. Chaya, who has been making dolls for many years, runs a women utility cooperative society and a training center on doll making in Agartala city. She has trained and employed hundreds of women in last 1 year. Currently, 30 women are being trained at a skill development workshop on doll making skills and dry flower making at her house.
না আমাদের এখানে প্লাস্টিকের কিছু নেই তো আমি ভাবছি যে এই যে তুলুটা দিয়ে করা এটা মেডিকেটেড বাচ্চারা যদি মুখেও দেয় কিছু এমন কোনো ক্ষতি হবে না আর এটা বাচ্চারা খেলবে এভাবে ফেলে দিতে পারে আবার এটাকে ধুয়ে মুছে আবার ঠিক করে আবার ড্রেস পাল্টিয়েও দিতে পারে আমরা এরকম করেছি ড্রেসটা পাল্টিয়ে দিলেই ঠিক হয়ে যায় তো এরকম ভাবছি আর এই সহজ উপায় সবচেয়ে সহজ উপায় মাটি মাখতে হয় না কোনো কিছু করতে হয় না তুলো আটা আর সুতো তার নিলেই পুতুলটা তৈরি হয়ে যায় আপনারা দেখলেন সামনে.
The Indian government is also promoting women and youth in the country to take up such initiatives and generate employment for others.
Indeed, a great initiative. With that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week, same time. Till then, goodbye.